Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's pick a card reading, we are going to be looking at the energies between you and a person that you have a connection with. Pretty straightforward, we've done this all before, so getting into what we're going to cover in this reading, you are going to be on the left, your person or the person coming through is going to be on the right, and in the center we will have the connecting energies between the two of you. Now the way to know that this reading is for you is you should find your energy on the left side. It's the energy that I'm going to be reading first. Now it is possible that they could be flip-flopped, and if so, that's absolutely okay because I'm going to be reading for both you and them. So you just will have to do the mental switcheroo in your own head. But other than that, should be pretty straightforward. If that resonates, then congrats, you found your reading. We're then going to get into the tarot, which I am picking a unique tarot deck for each group. And based on what the energy is in your reading, that is where I'm going to be guided to then ask questions. And so I'm going to, definitely be asking questions that are most helpful. Any clarifying questions that we need. I'm just kind of raw dogging it. Like, I'm going to be real. It's what we're going to do. And then we're going to finish the free reading off with looking at guidance for you, them, and the connection. And I'm picking a unique guidance deck for each group as well. So hopefully it will be interesting and enjoyable. But with that being said, if you're interested, we are going to be, which you should be because they're excellent, we're going to be doing an extended. And in the extended, we're looking at what's next for this connection, and it's going to be very detailed. So we're going to kind of do the same thing, but a bit different, where we're going to start by looking at the future energies of this connection. So where this connection is headed, and what that will look like, what that will feel like. But then we're going to go deeper into it once we look at the overall thing and see, okay, how is future you experiencing this? So these are the energies present, but how will they manifest for you? How will you experience them? We'll also see how your future person, how your person in the future, will be experiencing these energies, how that might influence their actions, things like that. And we're also going to look at how these future energies are going to shift and change your connection and how they're going to show up in the 3D world. So we're going to get a better idea of really truly what's next on all levels. And we're going to finish off by asking what the deeper purpose of this future point in time is and how to use it to your advantage. So whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to create in this connection, hopefully the extended will help you do that. That will be linked down below. Thank you to everyone who shouts out the extendeds because I do work very hard on them and try to make them as affordable as possible. So thank you to everyone who joins me over there. I don't know why I need to like this is some laborious task. It is a labor of love. But that being said, we have 3 different stones for you to choose from, as well as 3 different cards with different images on them. So starting with group number 1, we have this Moonstone, and we have this image of a tree with a moon. And I'm trying to hold back my burps if you're wondering what that sound is. Group number 2, we have this Lapis Lazuli palm stone, which I cannot get over just how gorgeous this stone is in general. And we have this lovely looking lady with a star on her forehead. That card is sitting on top. And then finally for group number 3, we have Rainforest Rhyolite as the stone. And we have this picture with this person with lots of greens and blues and stars everywhere, and they're definitely not afraid of direct eye contact, so that's something that we can respect. So that being said, go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. It's possible you could be asking about more than one connection. It's possible that more than one group could fulfill different aspects of the same connection. Just do you. But with that being said, intro squad, we're going to go ahead and make our wish. And so intro squad, I really just want to ask you, how you doing? How is life going? And feel free to be honest. If you're not doing well, go for it. If you are doing well, tell us why. Have you had any wins that are really great? Have you had any frustrating experiences that you'd like to vent about? Just go for it. We're happy to listen, happy to hear. Thank you guys for participating. I will say, I've been pretty good. But you know when you got a lot of exciting stuff coming up that you know you need to be doing, but it kind of seems like overwhelming, and so then you like, it makes it harder to get stuff done. I'm kind of in that position right now. Kino's coming to visit soon, which is really exciting, and I've been getting my guest room all set up for her. I must say I am very proud of myself. I dragged a mattress in its box up my steps. So basically I am the strongest being alive, and if you saw my muscles, you'd be like, oh my gosh, Asa's ripped, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right. But yeah, I'm about to be really good. I'm also working on something really special with K Moon. If you've never checked out K Moon, you really should. She's incredible. Astrologer. Yeah, so I'm just in that period of like, oh, I got a lot of stuff to do to get prepared. And it sucks because I don't really like doing stuff. I like doing nothing, unless there's something that I'm doing I'm very passionate about. So I'm lucky that this is something that I can do. That's something that I like doing. Dare I say love doing. So that being said, speaking of love, we're going to make a wish on the Lovers candle today because we are being ergonomic. And I thought the Lovers would be the perfect candle to light. So if you want to pause the video and just set the intention that your wish come true, I will do, well, I'm not going to pause it, but I'm going to pause for a second to put my wish in there. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. I am burning myself. Let's fix that. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. There we go. That's better. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the readings now. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love y'all so much. And yeah, I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Moonstone Palm Stone and this card which says Moon Tree, this is going to be your reading on the energies of your connection between you and your person. So I'm going to go ahead and lay out these cards, and then we're going to get into it. Okay, so group number 1, your energy is over here on the left, your person's energy is over here on the right, and then these 3 cards represent the connecting energy between the 2 of you at this time. If you find yourself on the other side, if you find them flip-flop, that's absolutely okay. I'm going to be reading for both. And if you see aspects of yourself in both, that's absolutely fine as well. That just means there's some mirroring going on, which I do already see a little bit of that here. That being said, if what I'm describing does not make sense and does not sound like you, I would try a different group. So Group 1, I definitely feel like you are in a position right now where you are doing your best to stay grounded and centered, but if we're being honest, you're probably struggling a lot with confusion. You may also be feeling a bit rejected or just frustrated with where the connection is right now. I mean, the fact that we have the box here, it definitely seems like you have a lot of unanswered questions, and it seems like either you've already made it clear to this person how you feel or what you want within this connection, or you have this sense of acceptance around, like, you know what your feelings are, and you're very consistent and very unwavering in that. Actually, so much so that you may not even realize how there might be parts of you that are a bit unstable, but you don't see that because and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a product of like being very focused and onto like certain elements of your life. I think that you're very much focused on placing your energy in the material world. Like, you know, you could be working a lot to try to avoid what you're feeling, or you could be just keeping busy in any way you can to just kind of distract yourself from your thoughts. Because with this interference card being here, I do feel like for you, you're not really able right now to pick up intuitively on what's happening in the connection. In fact, I think a lot of what I feel like you might be dealing with a lot of assumptions rooted in insecurities that are making you feel very rejected or unworthy or dumb even. And let me just say, you're none of those things. I just think that you're actually someone who is so mature and stable that you almost forget that you need coping. You need time to cope. You need time to check in with yourself. I think you are someone who is used to being that for everyone else. And I think that you also have the desire to communicate with your person and share a lot of this, but I feel like you've been holding back because you feel very unclear. And I will say, for some of you, maybe all of you even, which if that's the case, that's hella impressive. I think all of you know to a degree that whatever interpretations you have right now, like interpretations rooted in insecurities you may have right now, you may know in your heart deep down they're not real, but you can't help but just be confused. It's like you're not taking them as the truth, but you're not discarding them as a lie either. And I think that for all of you, you know where you shouldn't dwell, but I think that you may almost forget that sometimes dwelling in certain places that you refuse to visit could be beneficial. So like, I actually think one thing that you're doing right now is kind of avoiding your inner world by focusing on creating balance in the external world. And I think that that is kind of what you're doing to maybe quiet the noise, the uncertainty, the what ifs. And I also think too, you kind of have this sense of openness towards your person and the connection. For some of you, you may be really on an edge though of like, I don't know if I even want to open myself up to them at all. Or maybe you were asking about someone else and the person that comes through you're going to be a little bit surprised about. The only thing I would say is that the person that I'm about to describe is not your person if they are, if they cause harm to you, if they are ABUSIVE in any way. I'll spell that again, ABUSIVE. That is not, the universe does not want you to be in a situation with someone like that ever. And I don't want you to be in a situation like that either. So that being said, I definitely just feel like you're stuck a bit at an impasse. And I think there is a part of you that's feeling a bit frustrated, like you feel kind of powerless and there's a lot that you want to share with this person, but it seems like they're kind of either MIA or like very difficult to communicate with right now. And I feel like you're also having a hard time, like there's a lot inside of you that wants to be expressed, but you're having a hard time really sitting with your emotions and facing your emotions, because I think part of you feels like you have things under control when you're focused on what you can control around you. And that's leaving you in this state of like, just forgetting your own humanity, I feel like, where you're pigeonholing yourself into certain roles rather than acknowledging the fact that like, hey, maybe your heart's feeling a little bit hurt because this person hasn't been showing up in the way you wanted, or hey, maybe you're feeling a little bit confused because things are not where you thought they would be. And it's even possible too that you could be feeling bad even about like maybe some harsh thoughts you've had about this person recently, or just, you know, things that you felt that maybe aren't really your heart, but are maybe just heat of the moment things, which like, if you're feeling, I mean, obviously, I guess it's a different story if you said it directly to them. I think that's something you have to work through together. But, you know, if you just said it to yourself in the heat of the moment or someone else, you know, you can let that go. But when we look at your person, what's really interesting is that I feel like while your energy is very much focused in the outside world, their energy is very much focused on their inside world. So I do feel like you guys are in a way mirroring, but in opposite ways. Like we even have 42 and 24 here. So I feel like for your person, they are in a hermit mode right now, and they are very much focused on finding an inner balance. But also I feel like as well, they're being a bit avoidant of their outside world, of their responsibilities. And for some of you, this person could have gone through something recently where they lost someone and that person left them an inheritance, or they've been getting they've been getting the care that they need. I also think, though, that they have just been really focused on creating balance for themselves and really working on themselves. But I don't think that they've been cueing you in to really anything that's going on. What's interesting, though, is that, like, we have this balance card, and I do think that you're not wrong. And also, like, this person does have feelings for you. Like, they do. But it definitely seems like, at least in their current energies, their feelings for you are inspiring them to go inward, to address the root of their instability in the material world. If you are more, if your material world is more balanced, if you're more well off financially, or just more stable financially than your person is, I can definitely see that actually as a barrier to intimacy at the moment, at least on your person's end, because they definitely feel like I think they're struggling with feelings of being good enough, and feelings of like, what can I provide? Like, what can I bring to this situation? But the interesting thing is too, is that their response to those insecurities is triggering your responses to your own insecurities. So, you know, when they're retreating and going inward because they're afraid to share it about what's going on, that then you're, you know, on this end being like, oh, okay, I guess they don't want to talk to me, or, oh, okay, like, I guess I just don't matter that much. And it's like, you guys are both kind of mirroring things, and this, like, mirroring this fear of expression, this fear of facing certain things, either within you or outside of you. In your case, it's a fear of facing certain things within you. For your person's case, it's a fear of facing certain things outside of them. But you both are working on this. And what's really interesting, I think that the both of you are an excellent example of how not a whole lot could be happening in the material, but you would be shocked if you could zoom out and see how similar what you both are going through is, and also what the deeper purposes of these times are. And just kind of realizing, like, even when you're not directly interacting with each other one-on-one, there's still a lot going on. So I feel like both of you kind of have your back to this connection a little bit. I feel like your person has kind of needed time to hear themselves, but also I don't know if your person has maybe been the most fair in terms of, like, just communicating transparently, like, what's going on with them. But I do feel like this time of inward introspection is coming to a close, because we have two different images here where it looks like the sun is rising. And I think for your person especially, they are finding a sense of inner balance that's giving them the confidence to go outside of themselves. And I would say that you can take this as extra confirmation if you've thought recently, I really need to do inner work, or I really need to talk to my therapist, or I really need to, or maybe I need to go to therapy, or I really need to, like, address what's going on inside of me. I really need to do some meditation or something. Like, I think part of you knows that you're avoiding your inner world a little bit, and this person is your person is avoiding the outer world. So both of you have a bit of, and I think both of you feel really bad about it. Like, I think you feel guilty for neglecting yourself. I feel like your person feels guilty for neglecting this connection. But I also think you both feel guilty for the ways in which, like, both of you are working through some sort of pattern around taking action for the right reasons. And what the right reasons are, you know, things that are actually aligned with your heart, things that actually feel good. I feel like both of you do things out of obligation or out of a desire to please. And I feel like both of you are working through this right now. And I think you both are kind of in this position where you're focused on, well, this is what is within my control, and I'm just going to focus on me and take care of myself and just see what happens. And the fact that we have choice here, it definitely seems like the connection itself is really up in the air, and it heavily depends on, for both of you, choices that you make now will impact what happens to you guys in the future. But with that being said, I do want to read this moon tree card to you, because I feel like this card, it might be everything you want to hear, or it might not be what you want to hear. I guess we'll just see. An old idea resurfaces. The moon is in alignment with your heavenly star. Conditions are now right for something you had put aside. Nurture this idea into being. With love and positive energy, you will achieve positive results. A majestic oak tree is rooted in fertile soil. It has grown strong and tall. Its branches reach out to a sky nourished by the light of a spiritual moon. Ground your idea into fruitful soil. Take care for it, and it will grow strong. This card may also represent a partnership of some kind, the marriage of heaven and earth, a physical or spiritual connection, a combined effort, or a sacred union through which something new is born. The tree has grown strong thanks to the sun, the rain, the soil, and now provides a home, a resting place, shade, and air to others. Giving and receiving is nature's way. So the fact that that card came up for the both of you, I really would not be shocked if for some of you, you've been thinking about this person a lot, or maybe like you guys are not even really technically in each other's lives right now, but at least in a consistent way, but that could be very much changing. I think for you, the viewer watching this, you have the opportunity to really decide what it is that you want. And what's really interesting is I'm kind of seeing like these alternate different timelines in my head where it's like, if this situation and this person is something that you want, I definitely believe that it can happen, as the card says. But I also think that, and this is not to put pressure on you in any way, because there really isn't any. The best decision to make is the one that always honors you. But like one thing that I'm seeing is that, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard the quote, like what you're seeking is seeking you. And I feel like the only way this connection would be done for good, or the only way that this person wouldn't come around, is if you had truly released them from your heart and there was no openness to any forward momentum. It's almost like as long as you're choosing this connection, this person subconsciously is choosing it too. And here's the thing, that doesn't mean that they wouldn't choose it even if you weren't interested, but it's more so like there's a difference between choosing something because it's the best for you, at least at this time, despite feelings, or choosing something because you know you're truly done with a certain chapter in your life. And I think both of you do have a connection to each other that is spiritual and that has wanted to ground in the physical. And I think that both of you I think you have done a lot of work. If I'm being honest, I feel like you are further along in terms of just like your maturity level, in terms of like just where you are at in life. And I think that your person has been in the process of catching up. And I think what's really interesting is that they've been addressing their material world by going in spiritually, and maybe that's something that they were inspired by you to do. If you consider yourself to be a more spiritual person and you found yourself being kind of feeling disconnected from that, or just really putting your faith in what you can see, what you can know, what is tangible, it definitely seems like there is some encouragement to go within spiritually for yourself, and just to kind of feel that nourishment, because I do think it will help dissipate any fearful ideas of what may actually be happening. But there's a reason why you and your person feel drawn to each other, and there's a reason why that this situation seems to come back around. So really, I feel like what Spirit is priming the both of you for is the opportunity to make choices that allow this connection to prosper and bear fruit. And I really do think on your person's end, they are finishing out a very significant cycle where they've been learning a lot about themselves. And I think they kind of know like they haven't been fair to you in that process. But let's just go ahead and get into your tarot and kind of look at this more deeply. For you guys, I'm using the Skeleton Tarot because I really like this deck, and it's black and white, so it matches the vibe. But while I'm shuffling, we are going to look at what's next for this connection in the extended, if you are interested in that. I'm definitely very interested with this one, what is going to be next. We're basically just going to do like a deep dive, like look at the overall energies. We're going to look at how that's affecting you, how it's affecting your person, what the purpose of that time will be, how it'll show up in your life. So really, really good stuff. That'll be linked down below. If you are interested, it's one of the best ways to support me. So thank you to everyone who does that. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, just liking the video, commenting, letting the ads play for the first 30 seconds, all of that's really helpful. You can share me with a friend. Yeah, all that. Just, you know, you can just send me some good vibes. I'm sending you some right back. And I guess one thing I do want to mention too before I get into your tarot is like there's a lot of earth energy here. I mean, we have Moon Tree, King of Pentacles, Hermit is ruled by Virgo. We have the root chakra on your person's side. I really do think that I think that the both of you are making a lot of solid progress. And I feel like for you, group one, I feel like in a lot of ways you've done so much already. There's almost this kind of like stagnation in your world where you feel like, okay, like you've done what you've needed to do for a while now. Like you're in a good place, I feel like, for the most part. And so I feel like you might have some confusion around like, well, you know, I've healed, I've done whatever, why aren't they showing up, or like why aren't things moving forward? And I think where the confusion really lies is that it's not about you doing the right thing and then everything works out. Like this person has their work to do, and their homework is different from your homework, and you might have breezed through your homework in ways where they need a tutor, you know what I mean? Like they're doing things in their own time. But what's really significant about this is the Hermit is number 9. And so I do feel like they're coming to the end of a cycle and finding a lot more balance, which is wonderful. And I would say that, and I can actually say this with my whole chest, like they have not, like you are very much in their heart. And I feel like they've known that they're not the healthiest person, and they've had to do work on themselves. And I think that like the fact that their cloak is white is really symbolic, because I think there is just a level of purity in their intentions towards you where they would rather be a better version of themselves for you. And if that means them needing to get that figured out and you move forward without them in the process, I feel like they would choose that over giving something a shot prematurely and losing you as a result, or messing things up, or just not being who not being who you would need them to be. I definitely feel like I just heard like they miss your honeyed words. So maybe you do have a really wonderful way with words, or maybe there's just something very nourishing about how you talk to them. I really do think though there's the potential for something special here, as the Moon Tree card indicates. And it seems like you both have been in the process of actually grounding that through your own personal lives. And now it's really up to like, okay, like things are fertile, like it's ready to plant, it's ready, like the soil, like the land has been tilled. Do you guys still want to do this? So yeah, I think the first thing I want to ask is, for you, what does group number 1 need to know about their role in all of this? What's the deeper purpose of, what is the truth beneath what they're currently seeing? What is really going on in their world and in this connection? I definitely feel like you are getting your spark back. This is a lot about you gaining your own conviction and reconnecting to spirit in ways where you recognize you don't have to be, things don't have to always make sense as they are happening. I feel like the universe is really priming you for a reconnection to your own higher self, to spirit, and to optimism and possibility. I really feel like the biggest thing the universe wants you to know here is that the only way the situation can't come to fruition is if you choose to walk away from it and decide that there is something more fulfilling out there for you, which you are totally allowed to do. But I definitely think there are some assumptions you are making that are not loving towards yourself, where I think that you have the opportunity to see how you may disempower yourself by not calling out just harmful beliefs that you have about yourself and harmful beliefs about your value and your worth, your attractiveness. I do think that this time is a little bit about recognizing your attractiveness and recognizing your worth beyond what you bring to the table materially. Like recognizing that there's attractive, like your aura is attractive. You're magnetic when you feel connected and aligned with your higher self. And I think if anything, I kept getting, this reading has been challenging. Before I even started it, I have shifted and changed the cards that I was using so many different times because they just felt off and they just felt wrong and they just felt weird. And even within this reading, like there does just feel like this kind of like film over everything where I'm doing my best, but it feels like I'm not able to like even just thinking of questions I want to ask, I'm like, I don't even know where to start and what is even useful. And I don't even know if in speaking about this Ace of Wands card, like I don't know if what I've answered is helpful or even answers the question. But what I do know is that there is a boost of motivation, creativity, and just like personal, like that personal spark that is coming back to you. And I would definitely say that if you've been feeling drained, unmotivated, and you don't quite know why, it's definitely because you're neglecting your inner world. Your inner world has a lot of value for you. And also, you may partially too be afraid to initiate anything out of fear of being rejected or not getting the response that you want from this person, or maybe not getting a response from them at all. Part of having that dog in you is doing what feels authentic to you, no matter what the response is. So I do feel like there's some encouragement on your end as well to really ask yourself, like, am I holding back out of fear in ways that cause me to stay stuck or feel trapped? I feel like part of this time is about recognizing that, you know, maybe the value in sharing your truth is not in how the other person responds, but is more so in giving yourself the peace you deserve. And also, you might just be really surprised how that can shift things. Okay, I want to see what your person has realized about you and your connection as a result of this time of inward reflection. Okay, we have the Page of Swords. What else? They've been really unfair to you, and I think they've known that, but also they haven't acknowledged the fact that a lot of where you... Okay, there's actually a lot here. And a lot of what they have been realizing has to do with them just respecting who you are and seeing more clearly why you are at the place in your life that you are. I feel like this person has had huge awakenings and realizations around the narrowness of their own mind, and maybe in the ways in which they've treated you more callously or have been unfair to you. I think one thing that this person has also realized is that they do want something more consistent. And I think that when it comes to your success in the world, in your own world, I feel like they wrote it off in the past as you being lucky or you having advantages that they didn't or privileges that they didn't. And I think what they're realizing now is that you have a consistency to you that they were not recognizing because they were too busy projecting assumptions. I think that there is a part of you that made them feel threatened and made them feel immature. And it made them afraid to open up to you more deeply. I feel like one thing that they realized about you as well is that you are a very consistent person. And if you kind of took your energy away from them during this time where they've kind of been going inward, I do think they've realized, like, they may have taken for granted how supportive your energy was, and they may just have taken for granted like your presence in their life. And I think that they're recognizing that. I also think, though, that one thing they're thinking about in general is just reaching out. But I also think that they really psych themselves out and keep going into this mode of like, oh, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet. But I also think, too, this person is wishing that they had had deeper conversations with you sooner. I feel like out of their nerves around you, they kind of kept things more surface level. Also because they may have just been intimidated by you and they were afraid of reaching like a level of conversation or a topic where they couldn't really keep up. And so I definitely see them, I see them like realizing how that fear of going deeper with you kept them from seeing the deeper qualities that you have and recognizing like how genuine your nature is. I think that they were used to people kind of screwing them over or talking the talk instead of walking the walk. And I think one thing that they've realized is that there really aren't games with you. Like, you kind of are who you say you are, but there's so much more to the picture that they didn't realize. And I think that they are realizing now that like a lot of what they may have, a lot of their insecurities that may have driven their behavior and a lot of the assumptions that they've made about you, they realize were small-minded and rooted in their own insecurities. And I do think they feel bad about like believing those sorts of things. How do they feel about group one and the connection that they share with group one, please? I do feel like they want to move forward. Like they feel like there's opportunity here to move forward. And I feel like that's what they're hoping for. But they also don't know if you will feel the same way. And so I feel like they're really focused on their own security while they continue to kind of purge and release what's been keeping them stuck in the past. Because a lot of what they've been working on is purging a lot of past energy that made it feel impossible to envision a future that wasn't terrible. And I'm not saying a future that was terrible with you, but just a future that was terrible in general. And I think most generally, you've been pretty wonderful to them. And they might have not really understood why you were, because like maybe they felt like they didn't deserve it, or maybe they felt like, oh, you know, they're just being nice to me. And I think what they're realizing is that in their own denial of receiving just your generous nature, receiving your heart and things like that, not only have they denied their own heart, but they've also pushed you away and probably hurt you in the process. They assume that they probably have, if you haven't said that to them outright. But I definitely feel like they want to move forward from the past. When it comes to this Moon Tree card, let's ask why this connection is so powerful between the two of you. So like, why is this connection showing up in this reading, and why is it such a powerful conduit of energy in the lives of group one and this person, please? Okay. Well, we have the Hanged Man and the Queen of Cups. So I think it's very powerful in terms of spiritual expansion, and I think both of you would agree to that. But I also think a big reason why it's so powerful is because it's kind of one of the only energetic forces that forces you both to take a step back, self-reflect, choose differently, and evolve. I also think it's the only connection either of you have had with the most psychic, I think that this connection has been probably, in terms of emotions, the most emotionally deep and emotionally like powerful for the both of you. I also feel though that like the psychic connection between the two of you is pretty strong, and there might be times where you can feel each other's energy or almost swear like you know what the other person is thinking. And that actually might make communication hard sometimes, because when you're around them or when you're talking to them, you might not know where you end and they begin. You might start to feel insecure or feel differently than you did right before you were around them, because now your energies are getting all mixed up. But I also think as well, you know, this connection does serve a powerful purpose, which is to get you both to really surrender and look at things from a different perspective, to see things beyond what appears to be, and instead look into, well, what actually could be true. I also think this connection is teaching you both the value of stasis, or just to put it more simply, the value of not moving, the value of staying put, the value of being present. I definitely think that there is a part of this connection where both of you kind of have this like one and only type of vibe around the other. And you also kind of feel like, I feel like both of you as well have this understanding that like whatever this connection is for the two of you, there's some sort of reason why it's here. And I feel like both of you kind of recognize you're not in control of it. But I do think the thing that you may not recognize though is that you partially are. And what it really comes down to is your willingness to work with it, and your willingness to see what it's showing you, because it definitely seems like the two of you are mirrors to each other. And the thing about the mirror is that the image in the mirror does not change unless you start changing. You know what I mean? So I definitely think for both of you, this connection brings a lot of sweet feelings, a lot of compassion, a lot of emotional and spiritual expansion. But at the same time, like that extends to all parts of your lives. And also there's a lot of frustration around the fact that you're not always getting answers. You're not always understanding what's happening, but there's value in that. I definitely think that part of why this connection is so strong is because it's really here to help you both grow into the highest versions of yourselves, and also to consciously choose from an empowered place how you want to be around each other, the type of connection you want to be in, the type, like what you both get to create, what your relationship becomes. And I think the universe is kind of priming you both to get there. Now, because I definitely think your person especially sees positive forward momentum, or at the very least wants that. They want to move on from the past. They want to move on from misunderstandings. I feel like they really just want to move forward and in a more transparent way and get away. Like, I feel like they don't like who they are when they're around you sometimes. And it's not because... It's just like sometimes when they're around you, all they can see are their flaws. And it's not because you're pointing them out. It's just because like you're so magnificent to them. And like it's kind of confronting and almost embarrassing for them to see what they didn't see. It's like they did their makeup, you know, in the dark, and then they go outside in the light and they look ridiculous because they didn't see that, you know, the edges were off, and they got mascara all over their face, and they didn't blend their foundation into their neck and shit. Like, you know, which if you don't wear makeup, you're like, no, so I don't. But I think you can get the idea. But I want to ask for you, if there's any action you want to take, or if you're feeling guided to express or take action, what is the best action to take? So for group number 1, please, Spirit, what action would you guide them to take at this time? We have the 3 of Pentacles. So I would definitely say, like, if you want to interact with this person face to face, it might actually be best to do so in a group or public setting where things are less intense, because it does seem like they are in a process right now where they're a bit emotionally fragile. I feel like they have been going through a lot of just realizations of like, oh wow, I wasn't fair here, oh wow, I did something that I shouldn't have, or I feel like they're in the process of building themselves up, but like in that process, you know, there's just a lot of like, there's fragility there. And I think for you, a lot of you, I feel like the guidance is to not feel like you even have to take action here. If anything, I think that just expressing how you feel and expressing where you're at would be the most beneficial thing. If you have friends or people that are familiar with connections like this that give you positive guidance and support, or that just give you an ear to listen to, I think that could be really beneficial. I feel like you don't really have to do anything. And I also feel like there's no shame, you know, how we were talking a lot about you focusing your energy in the material world around you, focusing on your work, focusing on what gives you purpose, or just focusing on what makes you feel productive or makes you feel like grounded, or just even distracts you from the answers you can't have right now. I feel like Spirit is encouraging you to continue to do that. But I also do think there is a little bit of encouragement as well to balance that with some more internal work. But of course, you don't have to do that until you truly feel ready, or until you have gotten your other work done. I do feel like where you are placing your energy is effective right now. And I would definitely say if you're approaching your person, to do so in a way that is more practical or more low stakes, because I feel like this person just has a lot of like emotional investment into things, and they might shut down out of fear. And that wouldn't be your fault. Like, obviously that would be their choice, but if you want to know what action is most helpful, it might honestly be nothing and just focusing on what in your life still needs work. But if you do, you know, creating a group setting or something where, or finding an excuse to talk to them about a work-related thing, I think that could be helpful. You know, it might just be possible that you need to break the ice a little bit. But I guess we should just ask if Spirit, like, because clearly Spirit is working on things on their own end. So, Spirit, what do you want Group 1 to know about, or at least what can you share about what you're doing to support this connection, or what you want Group 1? Yeah, that's really beautiful. You are definitely being encouraged to trust in the flow of things and really focus on your own evolution. Like, I feel like this Empress and the Moon Tree card kind of go hand in hand. Like, the universe is setting things up to ensure that neither of you plant seeds in a field that can't yield crops. And I actually think that things are closer to changing than you realize, but it might feel like it's a useless effort because maybe you guys have been in the same place for a really long time. But ultimately, the universe is really priming you both to be more confident, more self-assured, and also be in a position where you can create together, where you are naturally magnetic, where you are in a position where you're not afraid to face the other, because you know that, because you're so rooted in your own self, that whatever happens, you can accept, you can face that. But I also think too, the universe is helping you both let go of a projection of negative outcome. I think that even that projection has kind of leaked into how I've read this reading, where I feel it feels almost awkward or weird to talk about the positives in this connection, because it does seem like you guys are very focused on the negatives, and some of the negatives that you're focused on aren't even real. So realistically, Spirit is assisting you guys in really actually getting to the root of your intimacy barriers, because both of you have barriers to intimacy that make it challenging to be close to each other, and that you do not realize yet because you haven't been in close proximity with one another long enough to understand how these barriers could be problematic in ways that could make problems much bigger, misunderstandings much bigger, and create a dynamic between the two of you that is toxic and unwanted between the two of you. So I almost feel like this is kind of like giving you guys the safeguards needed and the wisdom necessary in order to handle this connection without feeling like you're unequipped or that like you were misguided in your feelings for them after spending lots of time with them, because then you realize like, because you're having arguments or misunderstandings or something like that. So the universe is really bringing about a lot of healing and a lot of natural changes that are really supporting who you're becoming. And I also think that they're supporting this connection becoming its most successful version of itself. And that is allowing the two of you to also realize your own creative abilities here. Because for you, I think that there is creative power in, you could say manifesting, but you could also just say like, in focusing on how you want your experience with this person to be, like truly believing that to your bones, recognizing what is and isn't aligned with you. And for your person, I think having enough, having a strong enough self-esteem to not play a comparison game all the time and to not feel like they are beneath you, because that is really what they are working on right now. I guess like I feel very unsatisfied with it. But see, here's the thing. Part of the reason why this feels unsatisfying is because we're looking at the current energies. We're not looking at like what's moving forward, because there are changes happening and choices to be made. So I guess I'll ask this. What is the best choice for you to make to be in alignment with whatever your heart truly desires? What is the what choice does group number 1 need to make in order to be in alignment with their heart's desires? You need to make the choices that are most balanced, that actually excite you and that make you feel like you see a future, where you truly want success, where you truly envision yourself. And, you know, I'm thinking of our Lord and Savior, Cinderella. As she says, a dream is a wish your heart makes. And I think that for you guys, there is a real need for you to kind of let go of the reins in certain ways. Because, you know, well, at least not in this picture, but in the traditional chariot, the dude is not holding the reins. He's being carried by the chariot, and he's just staying balanced within it. I feel like you need to choose to accept where the journey is taking you, and accept that it might not look the way that your ego has wanted it to, or it might not be coming in the timing that you expected it to. But as things progress and move forward, you will have deeper understandings and be like, oh wow, I'm so glad that things didn't work out at this point, because I could totally see this being a problem, or I could see like another factor being a problem. I also think like on your person's end, it's possible too that just some of the reasons why they haven't been able to show up are because of just like material concerns that they have to place their focus on. And if you, fuck, god damn it, shut the fuck up. This is the second time this has happened. I'm so pissed. It never happens any other time. Are you done? Oh my god. Okay. Well, no more candle time. That sucks. You guys are so dramatic. Yeah, don't be as dramatic as my stupid fire alarm that like totally lost my train of thought. There are going to be opportunities in the future for you to recognize why things weren't happening the way that you hoped they would in the timing that they did. And just kind of recognize like, oh, this wouldn't have even been a desirable situation for me anyway. So we will look at what's next in the extended, but we are just going to finish off with some guidance for you. The other thing that I will say is I would really look into K Moon. We are actually working on something special together, but K Moon Astro, she has done some really awesome classes. I don't know if they are for sale right now, but I know they will be in the future once again, around creation, when it comes to divine connections and things like that, and they are brilliant, and they're really like just she also does them with this lovely woman named Romania. I do not know her channel, but I know that you will be able to find her through K Moon. I think that she could have a lot of valuable wisdom for you, especially if you're trying to create different scenarios here. She just recently had like a workshop that was like removing third party energy, which like I don't see a specific third party here in terms of another person, but I do think there are third parties in terms of like fears, obligations, beliefs. Like third parties can really be anything. And this could be very beneficial in helping you get a healthier perspective, and also gaining authority over what you're trying to create with this person. Because I think the both of you want what's best. I just feel like for you, for both of you, you lack faith in each other and faith in the connection. And if I'm being perfectly honest, it's like you lack faith in this person and this person lacks faith in themselves. And that is not helping either of you. I would definitely say like one of the worst things you could be doing in terms of if you want to be close to this person, if you want to have a deep, loving, committed relationship with them, start having faith in their ability to grow and change, because they are doing it, whether you can see that or not. But they're definitely having a very hard time having faith in themselves. And I see the universe trying to help them with that. But on your end, whether, I don't think that they consciously pick up on it, but I feel like they probably struggle to feel confident around you, because I think whether you realize it or not, you probably don't really have much faith in them to show up in a way that makes you feel secure. And it's understandable why you feel that way. However, it might be something to consider that is a blockage, and something that makes it harder for the both of you to progress, because you're both buying into this belief that this person isn't capable of changing, they're not capable of showing up, and they're not going to show up in the way that you're hoping they will. And they're internalizing it as like, I'm not capable of changing. What if I can't show up? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Start having faith in what you can't see, and having faith in what you know to be true over what your ego might be trying to tell you. I've never wanted to fight an inanimate object more than I have a fire alarm. Like, there sometimes, like, I know they're important and they're for your safety, but like sometimes I just want to take my chances with the fire. Like, they're so annoying. Okay, anyway, Spirit, what guidance do you have for group 1? What guidance do you have for them when it comes to being in alignment with their highest good, and for just being centered and grounded? Okay, we have breast. Okay, so we have breathe. Inhale, exhale, create space within. So yeah, I definitely think that you guys will really benefit from just kind of sitting with yourselves more and creating just like a safe place to go within. I love the phrase, my breath is my anchor is my breath. I feel like when you find yourself running away with assumptions or fears or worries, that's really when you just want to take a step back, and don't even try to like do anything other than just focus on your breathing and just see how that helps you. Like, maybe look into breath work if you want to, but I also just think like breathing will help you slow down in ways where your mind can start to chill out a little bit. You can also start to observe your thoughts outside of yourself rather than believing them point blank, because a lot of them you know aren't true. It's just that you've gotten out of the habit of recognizing them when they show up. Yeah, and also, you know, give this connection space to breathe. Like, just because things aren't working, like they're not moving in the direction you want them to immediately, doesn't mean that nothing is happening. What guidance do you have for group 1's person? What should group 1's person know? Let go, relax, and release. Yeah, so I definitely think that your person is needing to kind of let go, not necessarily of you, but at the very least of a lot of the things that they're holding on to that get in the way of connecting with you. I feel like they do need to relax, and they need to release expectations and the way that they've envisioned. Like, they have high standards for how they believe they need to show up, and some of them are a little bit narrow-minded and a little bit silly, and are blocking their their ability to feel like they can just take action. But what does, what do both people here need to know? What guidance do you have for both group 1 and their person when it comes to their connection? Happy endings, the end of a chapter. And what did I say about the dawn? What did I say about the dawn? So yeah, I definitely feel like there is a happy ending here. One happy ending is that the smoke alarm stopped. So I definitely think like there are beautiful things ahead, and I think that the both of you guys will be shocked at how quickly things can shift when you do kind of just let go and go with the flow. And I also think Spirit just wants you specifically, because I don't think your person is watching, but they should be, because they have great taste. So like one of the first things that you guys can do is like be like, why aren't you subscribed to Xoxo Tarot? And they'll be like, I don't know, she's great, like why don't I do that? Anyway, I feel like both of you will kind of realize like a lot of what your fears we're not blocking this manifestation, but maybe we're blocking action taking that would have supported and empowered the manifestations you were trying to create and trying to, yeah. I'm challenging you to project a positive outcome here. I would even challenge you further to not have a specific idea of what that is, but just give the universe room to work, but also give this connection space to work in the way where it's like we're finding a way to come together that's aligned with our highest goods and create an ending, or at least an ending to this energy where maybe you decree that you both learn and gain the wisdom necessary to move forward, and this sort of time apart isn't necessary, or just have faith. Like I feel like you really don't even need to be doing anything crazy. Like you don't need to be in control or even really know what's going on. But I do kind of want to mention that we have these squigglies here in your card and in this happy ending card, and I really do think like by creating space and really making room to acknowledge and decree like positive outcomes, positive intentions, things being in alignment, things being up for the highest good of all, and really envisioning what you truly want with this person in a way where you also make space to look at what am I doing that isn't in alignment with that, and also pay attention to when those visions are like being grounded, or you know, seeing them really in your space, like what feels confronting about that. That will be an opportunity for you to be like, oh, maybe I was less ready for this than I thought, or maybe I've this has been well defined in my ethereal world, but actually bringing it into the physical world makes me realize like I have been keeping it there for a reason. Maybe it feels more comfortable there. And that's how you breathe and make room for magical things to happen. But yeah, I definitely feel like Spirit is saying like this chapter is ending. You're not going to be stuck here forever. I feel like you might believe that. But we will have evidence of that, that things are changing in the extended. So that is where I'm going to move things. But if you are leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background for the first 30 seconds. That's the simplest and easiest way to support me. But if you would like to support me in other ways, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates, subscribe if you haven't already. You click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, my social media. You can check out my candles, social media, other videos, ones with extendeds. You can share me with a friend, you can send me love, you can tip me. I'm palehag on Cashapp, and for PayPal, it's my email. I can respond to you on Cashapp. I can't respond to you on PayPal, but know that I do see your messages, and I really appreciate them. You just send me good vibes. I'm sending you good vibes right back. I really hope this reading was helpful. I apologize if it wasn't, but I really hope it brought you the messages that you needed. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Lapis Lazuli Moonstone and this card which says the Mystic, this is going to be your reading on what is going on between you and your person in this connection. So I'm going to lay out all these cards and we'll get into it. Okay. Wow. Group number 2. If you've been having a lot of interesting psychic experiences, spiritual expansions, weird dreams, and just in general a lot of psychic phenomena occurring, you've definitely found your group. Both of you are experiencing really intense, I'm hearing spiritual upgrades, but also just having a lot of powerful psychic experiences. And on your end, we have the crown chakra here, as well as judgment and psychic abilities. So I feel like you've undergone some sort of healing process. Maybe some of you even did a ritual that has really been actually working out for you, because I can definitely see you shed a lot of layers and like there's a lot of new growth happening. I also can see, though, it seems like no matter where your connection is at with this person, you feel really trusting and good about it. I also feel like you're reconnecting to yourself and recognizing the wisdom that this connection has for you beyond the obvious. I feel like what you're really doing is creating space for you to be curious and not stress so hard on trying to figure things out or trying to move things forward or you're just experiencing the bliss of existence, number one, and also recognizing that everything is occurring within divine time and that overall things are good. I feel like you're having profound realizations. I think things are coming together for you in ways that they didn't make sense before and now they do. I feel like you might even be a little bit spooked by how much is changing so quickly. I feel like you're just releasing a lot and it feels really good. I feel like you feel a lot lighter. And no matter what your level of engagement is with your person and your connection, I definitely feel like your person is experiencing a lot of profound psychic shifts as well. I do feel like what you're experiencing could be assisting them in their own. But if you haven't heard from this person recently, you will. If this person is never identified as a spiritual person or anything like that, they might have a lot of questions for you and they might come back around. It literally actually makes me think of a few years ago, I briefly saw someone and talked about spiritual things, and I could tell that they were respectful, but I could tell they were like, I don't know, they just like, you know, it wasn't, they weren't connecting with what I was saying the way I was, which is totally fine. Fast forward a few years and that person reaches out to me and is like, can we talk? Because I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen and my belief in spirituality has completely changed. And what was even crazier about it was I gave them a book, which was the Alchemist, which was funny because I was like, I always wondered what happened to that book. And apparently that book actually, it turned into a synchronicity. Like they hadn't read it and then they felt called to, and it was a synchronicity that assisted their awakening, which was really cool and really crazy. And it was like a lot of the things that I had said years ago were essentially seeds that were planted for their own spiritual expansion and growth. And so it was really one of those mind-blowing moments for me and for them, because like, you know, it was a huge bonding moment and like oh wow, like we can get each other on a much different wavelength than we could in the past. What a cool opportunity. I definitely feel like this person, it kind of reminds me of this story where I feel like they are opening up spiritually in a way where I don't think they ever have before, and it's probably scaring the shit out of them. But also at the same time, they are laser focused on your connection because they know this has something to do with it. For some of you, this person could be afraid that you've played a role in this happening to them, which like they're not necessarily wrong, but it's not overt. But also I feel like they may be struggling with embracing and accepting what's happening, because intuitively they're having a lot of things come to them very quickly that they're not sure how they feel about. I feel like the way that this might be manifesting for them is they're either reaching out to you a lot, or you guys are probably talking a lot. If not, I'm sure you'll hear from them soon. I'm sure you're thinking about them a lot if you're not hearing from them, because they're thinking a lot about you. And I definitely think as well, they're struggling with a lot of fear on what's going on. Like they're very confused. Not in a way where they're confused about you, but they're just confused in general, like what the hell is happening. Their intuition is growing. They're expanding beyond their logical mind for sure, and having these like powerful, whoa, like realizations about life, about themselves, about what they believe in. And this connection is definitely inspiring it. I definitely feel like if this person, if you could say that maybe in the past they've ever been like arrogant or thought that they knew everything, they might be really hesitating to open up to you about some of this, because they feel like a little baby child. Like they feel like they're like, wow, I literally know nothing, and I probably was like a jerk in the past, or I probably like I can't believe I was that dumb. And you know, and for some of you, I would definitely say like if they've already opened up to you and been like asked you certain spiritual questions, or for some of you I feel like they haven't like opened up and said like I've had a spiritual awakening, or I've had like this or that experience, but at the very least they've got a lot of questions. And I feel like you are being very generous and open with them. I definitely think on both ends there's this new experience with how you engage with one another, where how you perceive and experience rejection is different on your end. I don't think you're afraid of it at all. It's likely you've even been rejected by this person in the past. And so, you know, you're fully accepting of however they show up, because you know it doesn't have anything to do with you. And you also know it doesn't have anything to do with like the feelings between the two of you or anything like that. It just has to do with their ability to show up. But I also think as well, you're having a lot of profound realizations where you're recognizing that certain experiences in the past weren't because you weren't good enough, or something like you're realizing how things are not as personal as we take them. And I think you're also seeing new hope and possibility in the situation between you and this person that maybe you didn't in the past. And I think the ironic thing is that maybe nothing is different than how it was in the past, but the two of you are different. And I think how you even look at things is different. I feel like Pile 1, I really do Pile 2, sorry. I have to give you guys a lot of credit, because I feel like you've done a lot of work on yourselves, and you've really come into your own in a way where you love and accept who you are. And I feel like that is allowing this person to do the same. And I also feel like just because you've been in a huge period of growth and expansion, they have been as well. And I think that for them, they don't know how to conceptualize what they're experiencing in the same ways that you do. But ultimately, like what's going on in this connection is a lot of profound psychic and spiritual expansion that's leading to greater understanding of yourselves and each other. I feel like the fact that we have the Mystic card being here, like both of you are just having a lot of profound shifts. You might be having weird dreams. You might be picking up on each other's thoughts or feeling each other's energy. And the fact that we have fire here, I feel like there is like, y'all might quite literally be burning for one another. Like I didn't understand that phrase for a long time, but I've experienced it before, and it's never like when I'm actually around someone, it's just like random. And like it literally feels like fire in my solar plexus area, where like I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about. I would also be willing to bet that a lot of what needs to go is being burned away naturally. And I would be willing to bet as well, you guys are having these experiences where things you were once drawn to, you just easily say no to. I also think as well, you guys are becoming less and less afraid of being rejected by the other, which is awesome. I definitely feel like on your person's end, there is a lot of like fear of opening up to you about certain things, because number one, I don't know how open you've been with them about about your own spiritual experience, but consequently they number one, don't know how to put into words what they're experiencing. And number two, they don't, I think part of them is afraid of opening up to you and saying that you're right, or that they didn't understand, or that they were wrong. Because I think they're afraid of you having a response. It's like, haha, I told you, like rubbing salt in the wound. But I think that, first of all, you're not that type of person. And second of all, it's good for them to admit they're wrong. I literally just did that today. You know what? I'm setting up my guest room right now. And I had the bed up on one side of the wall. And I sent it to my mom. And my mom was like, well, why don't you try putting it on this wall? And I was like, oh my God, I've been working so much. Like, I don't think it's gonna work. Like, I was like, I don't think it's gonna work. Like, I think it's gonna cut the room in half. And like, realistically, I just didn't want to move the bed. I was tired. But today I moved the bed, and my mom was 100% right. And I told her, I humbled myself before my sweet angel mother. And I said, you were right. It looks way better here. And all she said was, I've been around the block a few times, smiley face. So I think that if for your person, I would tell them, just humble yourselves. Just let them know you're right. It'll bring you closer, and it'll realize maybe you should listen, because sometimes other people have valuable things to share. For them though, I think a lot of their fears seem way bigger than they really are. And partially they do just need the courage to actually like speak certain things to you and realize like you're not the type of person to treat them that way. But when it comes to your person, the barriers to intimacy and the barriers to connection, those are being broken down. And I definitely think that for you, barriers between anything have kind of dissolved for you. I feel like you're in a very beautiful like place where you're feeling the oneness of the universe. You are just in a real like, I'm just grateful to be here sort of vibe. Like I'm just doing myself, and like I'm grateful for all the love. Like you're very much like you're in your kumbaya era, and I love to see it. You're like that Coke commercial. That's like, I'd like to buy the whole world of Coke. Like you're every single person in that image. I would also say as well, like the connection itself seems to be heating up. Like, so no matter what, and how this could be different for all of you. But like, for example, if you're not talking to this person at all, and if you haven't in a really long time, it's heating up in the sense that you're probably thinking about them more often again, vice versa. That will heat up to them probably reaching out to you. Or you could then, because you're literally reaching out in this picture. I would say if you guys have been talking, I think that frequency is going to increase. Like there's just definitely more warmth, more openness, and more opportunity to create and to have more happen here. But I would definitely say right now you guys are integrating just a lot of powerful energy. And I would say that things are a little freaky deaky right now, but in a fun and exciting way. Maybe not for your person. It might be more like, oh my God, what's going on? But like for you, you kind of get what's going on a little bit, and you're reaping the rewards of that. And so I think also too, for a lot of you, you may just be feeling really happy with where the connection is, or really happy with what the connection has brought you, and spiritually, especially. So ultimately, I feel like this connection is in whatever place it's in, it's moving to a better one. I feel like no matter where it is on your end, you're in a great place. And for your person, I feel like they're in a really interesting place where they're reorienting to new levels of consciousness and integrating new perspectives that make them look at things differently. It makes them more open, but simultaneously, like they're still trying to process what's actually happening and be able to communicate it. But communication is actually a huge thing here, because I definitely feel like they may not be like reaching out to you right now, but they will be, because like they're feeling that call too. So I really like this. I really like this energy. We're just going to go ahead and get into the tarot, because this is pretty straightforward, which I appreciate, because group one's energy was confusing. But you know what? That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And that's the beauty of diverse energies. But while I am shuffling, I did quickly want to say there will be an extended for this reading where we're going to be looking at what's next for this connection and basically do a deep dive into that, how it'll affect you and them, and look at the deeper purpose of this time. It'll be linked down below. But if you just want to support me in any ways, liking the video, commenting down below, subscribing, sharing me with a friend, tipping, all that's really helpful. So thank you to everyone who does that. But I am really seeing, I don't know why I said, okay. I don't know why I was tapping this card. I had like a brain windows moment where I like shut down for a second. I really want to see what is your person feeling for you, and how are you picking up on that? So, oh, okay, no, let's ask this. What is your person feeling for you, and how are you picking up on them currently? So what is group number 2's person feeling for them at this time? The 9 of Pentacles. And how is group number 2 picking up on their energy? Yeah, okay, wait. Let's clarify this 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. So your person is feeling all the feelings, let's be real. But on a much deeper level, they've either cultivated stability in their own life that makes them feel like they can give more, or they're less threatened by others that have more stability than them. The fact that we have the King of Cups here as well, I definitely feel like your person is feeling like you've inspired them to create a new perspective that allows them to recognize that they can have deep feelings for someone and remain independent. I do feel like this person values their independence, and maybe they've always assumed that like connection with someone else means that they can't have their own independence, but I think you live a relatively independent life, and I think that they just have a lot of admiration and respect for you. I think if you guys haven't been interacting very often, I feel like they've really been moved by the fact that you are so content in your own world. And I feel like as well, like they've just found themselves being very overwhelmed with emotion when it comes to you. Like they just have these bursts of feeling. And I feel like especially like if there's pictures of you, or if they've seen you recently, like if you guys have hung out in person, I feel like they've just been kind of overwhelmed by how sovereign you are. Like you truly are someone who is marching to the beat of their own drum, is doing their own thing, and they see you as living well in life, and they feel very proud of you for that. And they also feel like, rather than intimidated or jealous, they feel inspired, and they also feel this sense of adoration and admiration for you because you are, number 1, so gentle, number 2, so generous, and number 3, you've had the emotional maturity to move with grace in ways that they've taken time, and they're now realizing, oh, this is a more healthy way to move and align and be. They are realizing too, like they didn't realize either how, I feel like they're just having these feelings around like they don't want to be alone without you. And there's like this feeling where I think that they've had this awareness of like, when they're around you, they don't feel alone. They don't feel lonely, and they feel comfortable, but also they are kind of shooketh by how much emotion they feel when they're around you. And I think that emotion overwhelmed them a lot in the past because they didn't have any way to consciously understand it. I feel like for them, that swirl and that swell of emotion was, oh, I'm out of control now. I need to go where I can be alone and be in control. And I think one thing that they've realized is that now that they're having these powerful expansions and realizations, they're like, oh, this surge of emotion is not a problem. It's actually a solution. It's an answer. It's a perspective. It's something that nourishes me. And I think actually one thing that they are feeling is gratitude for how your influence has created more stability for themselves in their life, and gratitude that they're able to be in your life, because I feel like they know that you don't really leave the door open for just anyone. And I feel like they just see you as somebody so valuable to them and somebody who deserves the world. And I will say, like, I don't think that they question whether they deserve you or not, but I do think that they wonder, like, can I handle someone as bad as group 2? And I don't mean bad in a bad way. I mean bad in a good way. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good, you know? And for you, I think that you're experiencing, you're picking up on this person psychically in ways where you're thinking about them differently. If you used to make assumptions, or you used to feel like let's say, for example, in the past you used to be like, oh, this person's pulling on my energy, it's so annoying. Rather than looking at things that way, you're like, oh, this person I feel their energy in my space. And you either welcome it or gently ask it to leave, depending on what you need. I feel like you're also picking up on it, though, in the sense that a lot of the past, like a lot of things that would have had an emotional charge to them, like past memories, past experiences, they just don't anymore. And I think that you're having a lot of fresh ideas, and certain feelings that you thought were long gone, or feelings that you felt like you had outgrown, they're returning in ways that you didn't anticipate, and they're purer than they were before. There isn't, like, I feel like one way that you pick up on them is when you sense them, you're not yearning or reaching or desiring for more. It's more like a welcome visitor that brings you a sense of peace, and you're like, oh, wow, this feels really interesting. I also think you're sensing them in ways where the experience is different. It's not the same as it was in the past. I feel like you used to pick up on them in more mental ways, and I feel like instead you're starting to really feel them and sense them. And I think you're also experiencing these surges of emotion as well, that are very powerful and very intense, but good. So I want to see, okay, well, I guess with this strength card coming out, I would definitely say in general, for both of you, a lot of this is helping you just step beyond ego and into love. I don't really think that you have an issue with that, but I do think that maybe your person has been working on that. And even then, like, you're not having an issue with that right now. Like, let's be clear. Like, we all have to balance our egos from time to time, and ego isn't a bad thing. It's just what what allows us to have a self. But I do feel like both of you are surrendering in really profound ways and experiencing a lot of compassion towards one another. And I feel like there's just this really gentle, beautiful vibe here, where you don't have to force, you don't have to push. Things are just happening really beautifully, and you don't need to, like, worry about it. I feel like if anything, Spirit's just confirming, like, you're doing everything in a way that's aligned with you. And, like, yeah, like, I would just sit back and relax, honestly. I guess what I could ask for you guys is just what you need to know about this connection moving forward, and anything you should keep in mind. We have Tiny Elephants, which is a unique card in this deck, and I don't know what it means, so luckily the box is actually right next to me for once. So let's find it. I wonder if it's in the front of the book or the back of the book. Okay. Is it after? Okay, yeah, it's right here. Two tiny elephants trek through the tall grass. The calf holds the tail of its mother as it peers around to ensure nothing gargantuan is hiding just out of view. To the tiny elephants, the grass is a wild world of its own. To the humans above, the grass is only a thought. When you pull tiny elephants in a reading, it asks you to acknowledge the perspective of your situation. Pay attention to the things around you. If your perspective feels like it has grown tired, then get on the floor. Stand on a chair. Find a new way of looking. You will be surprised how fresh something old can feel when you look at it differently. There is a wonder in small things, and there is a beauty in understanding another's point of view. Okay. But also, we have the choice is yours to make. And so I really do feel like there's no wrongs in the situation. There's nothing you need to do. I think if anything, the only thing that Spirit would say is like, if you're having trouble understanding why this person is acting in a certain way or why things are happening, try and shift your perspective and see what value would be there. I also think though too, there is a bit of like a message here around, I think that you took to your spiritual nature very easily, and I think that for your person, they need more time to acclimate to it, and also they are going to be dealing with the pressure and challenge that just comes with the beliefs we grow up with and the truths we're faced with. But I also think too, one of the things that you're being guided to release, or at the very least like look at differently, is if there's anything from your past experiences, especially with this person, that makes you feel afraid to like be yourself or just show up the way you want to, or show up at all. Maybe you do or don't, whatever you're doing. What I do know is that there might be lingering parts of you that are like just afraid of that situation repeating or having something happen that, you know, hurts your feelings or hurts your self-esteem. And I feel like in those times you should really challenge yourself to go inward, or challenge yourself to like really go back to that time and that perspective. And I think what you'll realize is that you're not even afraid of that, or that there isn't even really an emotional charge on that anymore. And so you can kind of let go of that fear. It's like, oh, I know what that was. You know, you can look back and see things for what they are rather than what they felt like in the moment. And the best perspective for you is the one that feels liberating. So anytime you feel stuck in a perspective that makes you feel trapped, zoom out or in, or whatever you need to do to shift that perspective in a way that makes you feel empowered and in control, because you do have that ability. And I feel like part of what's happening in this connection between you and this person is you kind of being in such a surrendered yet empowered and liberated position is really allowing this person to feel freer to explore this and take action towards you they normally wouldn't from a place of insecurity or uncertainty. It's making room for new interactions, new dynamics, new ways of showing up, new ways of being that they haven't before, that haven't existed before. So there's a lot of new coming, and I feel like that's one thing that they want you to know, is that there's a lot of newness in general. So I feel like I don't even really need to ask anything, but I guess like I do just want to pull one little card. What has Group 2's person realized about Group 2 in this connection that they didn't before? Yeah, I feel like they are seeing, number one, the value of your presence and the value of certain experiences that they didn't understand before. I feel like they do feel a certain faded quality to this connection, and I think if you felt this was a spiritual connection in the past and they didn't, or they realize that either you are right that this is a spiritual connection, or they've awakened to themselves like, oh, there's a spiritual nature to this. They definitely feel like you guys were meant to be in each other's lives, whereas this, and that might be really weird for this person to even admit, because they might be the type of person who's used to being like, everything is random, it's all just a matter of, you know, fate and whatever the case may be. They've definitely changed their tune. And I also think that they feel this sense of like momentum with you, where they feel like their life gets better when they open up to you more. Their life gets better when they spend more time with you. And not only that, they feel like they like who they are more when they're around you. They definitely feel like you are someone that you expand their life and expand their horizons. And I think in the past they weren't ready for that. And now that they are experiencing that, they are very mind blown, but also grateful and humbled by this experience. And I feel like they would just definitely say like everything that you guys have gone through has been worth it, or they're grateful for the understanding that they're getting. And they're also being very patient about what comes next, because I feel like number one, they're still integrating a lot of things, a lot of awareness. And number two, they don't want to rush anything. Like they feel very good about where things are headed, and they really love talking to you. I feel like one thing they realized as well is like they may have felt like it was harder to talk to you in the past, out of shyness or just out of different perspectives. But now they're starting to see, because they're seeing from a different perspective, it just opens the floodgates of what you guys can discuss together. So I think they're really excited about that. But with that being said, I want to go ahead now and shuffle guidance for you guys. And because I'm actually so glad I picked this deck for you guys, because we're going to be using the Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle. And what I kind of want to do is see, like, this is guidance, but I also want to see if there's like any guides that are guiding you. I'm not going to go too deep into specifics with that. I'll just kind of let you guys take your own messages from that. But yeah, Spirit, what guidance do you have for group number 2, please? Moving forward, what would you like group number 2 to know? Yeah, we have letting go of stories, surrendering attachments, releasing unconscious patterns. So I feel like this tiny elephants kind of goes more deeply into this, where whatever unconscious stories are holding you back in this connection, in how you approach love in general, that's really what your next step is about. I feel like you're already doing this very well, but what you're going to find in the near future is the opportunity to let go of more and more stories. I think too, what's going to be really liberating is you're going to realize how, I think you're going to reinterpret certain events from your past and realize they were actually a lot different than how you saw them. And I also think that you're going to be feeling really, really good, because you're going to be seeing through a lot of shame and fear and embarrassment that maybe you've had in the past about yourself, where you realize you never need to hold that, and that, you know, I feel like there's just going to be a lot of gentleness towards yourself, a lot of like love for the you that's carried you all this way. And I also think you're going to realize, like, you're going to find it's just easier and easier for you to take action in this connection that feels aligned with your heart. And also just in life in general, you're going to find that you're a lot more open, a lot more courageous, and a lot more like relaxed. And yeah, I think you're going to find that very enjoyable. What about group 2's person? What guidance, Spirit, do you have for group 2's person? The consequence of fear, contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilling prophecy. So yeah, they are definitely learning lessons around fear right now. And I definitely think that they are learning to overcome them, and that their intuition is growing stronger and stronger. But I think the more you let go of stories, and you just like continue to be in this beautiful, blissful energy, and in this like, just like, yeah, like going with the flow, like open to all that is, we're all one, like all those vibes. I definitely think that's helping this person as well. And I think that don't be afraid to also share your own fears with them, or share things that maybe you never have before. Because I feel like maybe even you facing your own fears in this connection with this person will help them do the same. It's almost like you liberating yourself from those fears, like, gives them the courage to do that, even if they don't consciously realize what's happening. But what guidance, Spirit, do you have for both parties here? What do they both need to know? You are enough, worthiness, faith and needs being met. Enough for now and always. So I definitely think that both of you are really being encouraged to recognize like what you want wants you. I feel like you both want each other, but also, let's just read it. Let's just read it. Number 30. I feel like that'll be better. You are enough, worthiness, having what you need, faith and needs being met, our need for emotional, intellectual nourishment, asking for help and getting it. It's an amazing feeling to truly understand your needs in life and trust they will be met. When you have healthy self-esteem, you know you are worthy of the gifts the universe has bestowed upon you, and you comfortably hold space for your success. Your hard work, focus, and energy are leading you to a fulfilling, abundant experience. This is also a reminder that no one person can meet all of another's needs. A romantic partner may need certain needs, while friends and family are needed for others to be fulfilled. Reflect on how much you're giving to others and whether or not you may be depleting yourself. You are not an unlimited source of anyone's supply. It is okay to ask for help. In fact, expect to receive it. You are worthy and help is always available. You are in a time of win-win. Focus on nourishing yourself with experiences that bring you joy. Doing so will give you the energy and knowledge to then nourish others. So I definitely think as well, like there might be, I feel like you're also being encouraged, both of you, to take small actions that are more so for you, like for self-nourishment. And I think you'll be surprised at how they actually aid and propel the connection in ways that maybe you didn't imagine. I definitely think though on your end, there's just a lot of guidance around letting go of any stories that just make you feel not enough. And on your person's end, letting go of the fears that hold them back from opening up and sharing, because when they open up and share, I think they're gonna find, I don't know, I said open up and share and then I heard in my head, I'm share, bitch. I feel like the more they open up to themselves and their uncertainties, I feel like they're gonna find a wonderful home in sharing that with you. And I think what you guys will be just settling into more and more is the realization that you don't have to be anything other than yourselves. And in fact, when you are yourselves, that's the most attractive thing. And yeah, prepare for a lot of magic to come your way, because as you can see, it's already happening and it's only going to get weirder, wilder, and more exciting from here. So group 2, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the extended, where we're going to be looking at what's next for you in this person. But if you are leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates, subscribe if you haven't already. Oh, and you only have to watch ads for the first 30 seconds, I might add. Get it? That wasn't a pun, not intended, but now that I saw it, it is intended. You can check out my merch, social media. My candle disappeared because my smoke alarm went off. But yeah, those are linked down below. You can check out my other videos, the extendeds. You can share me with a friend. You can tip me. My Cashapp is palehag. Or PayPal, which is my email. You can do either of those. But on Cashapp, I can respond to you with an emoji. On PayPal, I cannot respond to you. But that is all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this reading and that it resonated. I love you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Rainforest, Rhyolite, and this Inner Child card, this is going to be a reading on the energy of the connection between you and your person. So I'm going to lay everything out and we'll get into it. Okay, Pile 3. This is really sweet, and I would definitely say that if you are asking about a connection where things are not going well or are super confusing, I would try one of the other groups, because this is really straightforward. Pile 3, you are over here on the left, your person is over here on the right, and these cards in the middle are the connecting energies between the two of you. I would say you're a bit of a smitten kitten, and so is your person. I really love to see these energies, and I definitely think for you, your feelings for this person are very strong. I feel like you have a sense of optimism and hope around this situation. Well, that and uncertainty and nerves and is this too good to be true? I feel like there's a lot going through your noggin, but what I do see here with this Strength card is your feelings for this person are too powerful to ignore. And a lot of what's really powerful about this connection is how it heals you. And the thing is it's not like there was something inherently wrong with you that needed healing. It's just more so that, and this is for both of you. I mean, it's crazy how many cards speak to like an inner child or childlike quality just throughout this spread. And for you, I feel like not only do you have strong feelings for this person, but also you're around, this connection is bringing you back to a place of simplicity and to a place of just being in the present moment, being free, being optimistic. And the beautiful thing is that your conscious mind, your adult mind that knows that things are, that anticipates the worst or is fearful or is just tested and challenged and uncertain and nervous about certain things, you are handling that part of yourself like a champ. I feel like with this Strength card being here, you are recognizing the value and seeing things through, and also in not pushing away a good thing because you're afraid of what might happen. I feel like you're finding a lot of nourishment within this connection, and it's bringing you to your present in a way that I think that you maybe forgot what that felt like, or forgot that you could even have feelings like this. And for your person, I think that they're feeling a lot of the same. The fact that we have like the pig here and the Page of Pentacles and compassion, like I definitely feel like they find this connection to be really magical. I think that they like how simple things are and really straightforward. I feel like they see things being really solid right now, and they see things being, but they also see that there's unlimited potential here with Limitless. Like I definitely think they want to see where this will go. And I think they have the same experience where they really just enjoy being around you. And there's something that's just very natural and very easy with you. Like both of your inner children feel comfortable to shine and be a parent. Like this is definitely a connection that brings nurturing to both your inner children, where no matter how old you are, you guys make each other feel young. And I also think you give one another, goosebumps and butterflies are two things that I just heard. But also I think that this connection is the type to show you what's truly important, and has helped the both of you realize what has gone unnourished for a long time. I feel like both of you recognize this level of simplicity and ease when you're in one another's presence, and like it kind of seems like the rest of the world falls away when you're around each other. I also feel like with rest and balance being here, it's possible that you guys could be just not seeing each other right now, maybe because it's the work week, or maybe there's other things in your life to attend to, like maybe you're waiting to see them again and needing to be balanced, which I would completely understand. And I feel like even within that, you guys are having a lot of powerful realizations just around, like, I feel like both of you have probably been comparing this situation to past experiences where you're almost kind of shocked at how easy things have been. But when it comes to what's going on together, I feel like this connection feels very balanced. Like the give and receive is very even. I feel like neither of you feel like you're contributing more than the other. I also feel like both of you have this sense of, let me just say your person trusts you. You may not trust them, but they trust you. And I definitely think as well, there's kind of this admiration for your differences, because I think you guys have kind of picked up on that you balance each other out very well. It is possible though, you guys could be doing your best to avoid spending too much time with each other and creating an imbalance. But I definitely think that it just feels really good to be in one another's presence. Like with this rest card being here, I think you guys just feel safe with each other. You feel relaxed. I feel like if you consider yourself an overthinker, you might be shocked at how little you think even at all when you're around them, because you're just in the moment. I would say as well, this person, like in terms of the feelings they give you, I think you may be shocked at how like the physical sensation of the emotions you're experiencing, like your cheeks feeling hot or your heart racing or different things like that you wouldn't have expected. And I feel like your person as well, they're just really appreciating how like simple and straightforward things have been so far. I feel like they're really optimistic and excited, and at the same time they just feel really comfortable to be themselves around you, and they really appreciate that. They definitely as well have this very open perspective towards you, or they feel like, if they haven't said it, I definitely feel like they see your presence as a gift from God or whatever higher power they believe in. I think if anything, there's just a lot of like love blooming here, and a lot of compassion, a lot of adoration, a lot of excitement. And I think that, like, if you're wondering if this is too good to be true, or it's not, like, I think maybe you're just used to reading into things because you're used to being with people that deceived you or weren't honest and transparent. But I feel like both of you have almost this, like, this feels almost like deceptively good and simple. Like, what's the catch? And the catch is, the only catch is that you now get to look at what blockages to intimacy still exist and where your fears around love and connection still lie. But ultimately, I think you guys I feel like you're just on the same wavelength. I feel really good and relaxed around one another. And I think that there's a lot of just joy in being in each other's presence, and silliness and fun. And like, this is definitely a connection where there aren't just romantic feelings, but there's feelings of true like friendship and camaraderie as well, where you guys just feel really comfortable to be yourselves around each other. And I feel like there's just a lot of excitement for where things are gonna go. So I couldn't ask for a more straightforward reading. So let's just go ahead and get into your tarot. So for you guys, I chose to use the Lightseers Tarot, which I think in hindsight was a really good choice, because I think you guys are seeing a lot of light in this situation and wondering, okay, but where's the darkness? It's inside of you. It's in those what ifs and those self-sabotaging tendencies. But while I'm shuffling, I did just quickly want to mention, link down below, there is an extended where we're going to be looking at what's next for you in this person. And we're going to be doing a deep dive into that, looking at like the energies, how it's going to manifest for you, how it's going to manifest for them, how it's going to show up in the connection. We're going to look at the purpose of that time and things like that. So that'll be down there if you're interested. Gonna be pretty good, not to toot my own horn, but my extendeds are, and I make them as affordable as possible. But if not, I just appreciate you being here, leaving me a little like or a subscribble or a commentarino or something. All of that's really helpful. But yeah, letting the ads play for the first 30 seconds, all that's super helpful. I'm trying to think of what I want to ask here, because like, honestly, I don't know if there's really many questions that we have to ask here. I think what I want to ask for both of you is just I feel like both of you have these like internal fears. And so, and I'm trying to think like, and these internal fears are not strong enough to get in the way of this connection, but I do think that understanding what they are could be more empowering. But I'm like trying to decide how I want to ask this. Okay, so I'll just ask what you need to know about any fears you may have around opening up to this connection. So what does group number 3 need to know about any fears they may be encountering as they open up to this connection? We have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, and what does group 3 need to know about the fears that their person may have? Okay, so what you need to know about your fears is that, number one, they won't materialize. And if you have any worries that like you're going to create self-fulfilling prophecies, stop it. More than anything, the worst thing that can happen here is that you just let your fears run amok and you waste time and energy stressing over them because they're not coming to fruition. In fact, this is a type of situation where you really need to be looking at what is happening and be pragmatic and also like realistic, because the ways in which you may be unrealistic is you may be unrealistic about how your presence is valued. So for example, let's say you're in this person's bed and you guys are cuddling or whatever. Maybe you've been there a whole day and they've taken time out of their very busy schedule to just spend one-on-one time with you. And they get a text message from someone and maybe you're worrying, oh, what if that's someone they're into? What if that's someone they like? You might want to take a step back and say, well, who's in their bed right now? Is it you or that person they're texting? And probably what you'll realize is the person they're texting is like a family member or is like something silly. There's something really solid being created. And I think what you need to know about your fears is that they will be disproven through material evidence in the third dimension. That might take time for it to appear, but that's where trust and faith comes in. I think that you're going to find that you and this person settle into routine, into consistency, into commitment, into agreements that are transparent, straightforward, and that work for both of you, that bloom and evolve over time. That is going to prove to you over and over that your fears weren't worth worrying about in the first place. Now, in terms of what you need to know about your person's fears. Number one, they're theirs to deal with. But number two, wake the fuck up with peace and love. Like, you should be more confident in who you are, like, and be more confident in the value you bring to their life. You bring a lot of light into their life. And I think that they will make that clear. And I think that they will want to show you that. And also, if it makes you feel any better, when it comes to this person's fears, they are not the type of person to let their fears ever stop them or get in the way. I think if anything, what you need to know is that one of the best things you could do for yourself and for your person and your connection together is be confident and fake it till you make it, because you may not feel confident immediately. You may not always feel confident, but be confident in the fact that this came into your life for a reason. They're interested in you. You're interested in them. Shine your light and be yourself. That is what is going to help this person be able to dissuade their own fears. Because number one, your confidence and your authenticity are magnetic and super attractive. And also your confidence in the situation will just be further fuel for them to burn their own fears and realize like, okay, we're both in this. In fact, one thing that can make things move more slowly or create miscommunication is, if you retreat or go inward out of insecurity or out of fear, they're going to do the same. And so they're going to feel less confident and they're going to feel more uncertain. So the more that you can be like consistent and just authentic and not get too in your head, I think the better. I kind of want to see though, when it comes to your person, what's something that they really love about you, or like what about you kind of just really makes you special? They feel like they have a place to put their heart. Like they feel like their heart is safe with you. And it's more of that rest energy where they feel relaxed. They don't feel like they have to be on edge. People on their motorcycle, oh, good Lord. They just feel like they don't have to try too hard. They don't have to be anything other than themselves. And I think what's really significant too is that when you guys aren't together, this just flew out, they feel very clear about you. And when you guys are together, they don't question a thing. And when you're apart, they just kind of bask in what's already occurred. They don't feel like they need clarity or answers. And I want to add that we have 3 different aces out on the table. So I just feel like you've given them such a fresh perspective. You make them think in new ways. And like, I think that also you have given them hope and kind of something they always dreamed of happening, but weren't sure if it were really real and if it existed. I also think that they love just talking to you. They love interacting with you, and they love how you've expanded their mind and opened them to new ideas that they didn't see before. I feel like you've helped them open up to potentials that they could have never thought of on their own. And I feel like just in general, they, like I said, they trust you. And I feel like the biggest reason why they trust you is that they can feel the authenticity and the truth in your words. And I think that's something they didn't realize that they could sense until now, and they can with you. For you, I want to ask, what is something that group number 3 can do that would be meaningful to their person? You know, what would their person love group number 3 to do if they're comfortable with it or share? 7 of Pentacles, the Chariot. So I feel like, honestly, both of you might be afraid of introducing topics like commitment or things like that, or the future, because things are going really well and you are keeping things simple. But I think, if anything, letting it drop here and there of like the type of future that you are seeing, and also staying focused on your goals and being encouraging of theirs, I think is going to be something that's really beneficial. I also think, like, whatever you're already doing, they really enjoy. So like, whether that is communicating consistently or going out of your way to, you know, ask them about their day, or just whatever you're already doing, it is helping. But I also think as well, like, they do not want to take up all your time and energy. And they want you to have your own fulfilled full life outside of them. So I would definitely say they don't want you to make sacrifices in your personal life just to accommodate them. But I would definitely say they love when you share your heart with them, when you share your hopes and your fears, your optimism. I also think as well, like, they love to watch you move. That's the one thing I will say. If you dance or anything like that, they could be very into that. But I also think that they just love when you are unapologetically yourself, and when you talk about your process, your goals. I feel like they do find you very inspiring. And I think that it would just be really meaningful as well for them to hear, you know, your experiences being around them, and vice versa. Like, I feel like that will give them, if they're not sharing very much of that, I feel like you sharing it will give them the confidence to share the same, because like I feel like they don't want to come on too strong too soon. But I feel like they will always appreciate any like reassurance that you're vibing with them as much as they're vibing with you. And I think that any talk of the future that is genuine and authentic, whether it's what you see for your own future, or what you in any way, like ways that you might hope to have them be in your future, sharing that stuff when it feels right and when it feels true, I think can be very meaningful. But let's just see what Spirit wants you to know about this connection in general. I definitely think if you guys have been spending time apart or have had other things to do, like, I think you guys miss each other a lot. And I would say the one thing that they would encourage you guys to do is to not focus on what you think you lack, or focus on what you feel you need to improve upon. I feel like both of you have the opportunity to see that you have what you need to succeed here. Don't let doubt and fear get in your way. But I think this is more so just a message that, like, even if it's only been a little bit, I do think you guys miss each other. But I do kind of just want to know as well, like, how are both of you feeling about one another? Like, what mutual feelings do you guys have for each other? Ooh, okay, yeah, there's a lot of spicy. Like, I definitely think you guys are thinking about each other a lot, to the point of, like, where you maybe want to relax. I think you guys are both feeling really attached to one another already. The Devil isn't always a bad card. But I do think that if it's been a while since you guys saw one another, I definitely think you guys might be really, really focused on like, okay, when's the next time gonna be? I feel like both of you are trying to hold back and not be too strong. And I also think both of you are dealing with internal fears that you don't want to share with the other because you don't want the other to interpret those fears as doubts. But ultimately, I think that there's a lot of physical desire for one another. And I think you guys are like really just in one another's like thinking about each other all the time, wanting to know what the other person is up to. Like there's definitely a feeling of like attachment here already. And I think also too, you guys are both feeling like this connection is showing you where maybe some unhealthy attachments in your life are ready to be purged and released, which I love. So we're gonna go ahead and do some guidance now. And so I figured for you guys we would use the Inner Child Oracle. And so I'm just going to pull a guidance card for you, a guidance card for your person, and a guidance card for the both of you. So Spirit, what guidance do you have for group number 1 when it comes to this connection? What do they need to know at this time? You do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support in this time. And actually, I think one of the best things that you could do is open up to this person, like, and let them know what you need. Like, maybe you need a pep talk. Maybe you need to hear how they're feeling. Maybe in general, there's opportunity to just open up and be less self-reliant. I think when you feel called to open up, or even just be like, hey, if you're the type of person that's afraid that you're being annoying, stop it. You're not being annoying. They like hearing from you. But also, I think there's a spiritual aspect to this as well, where you're not alone in this. Like, the universe is supporting you and guiding you as well. And I also feel like, too, if there's anyone you wanted to talk to about this, or just anyone you wanted to share with, feel free to. Like, it might be really liberating, and it might be something that helps you feel more secure and confident in what's going on. What guidance do you have for group number 3's person, please? What guidance does group 3's person need to hear? It is never truly the end. Beloved, in this, everything will be okay. So I definitely think that if your person is having any fears, it's like, what if this is amazing and what if it ends? And I think that they are realizing that first of all, shouldn't be worrying about the end in the beginning, or that's something that they should realize. And also, I think that they're going to reach the conclusion that everything will be okay, and they just got to keep moving forward and not push away something, not block their blessings because they're worried they're not deserving of them or are afraid to lose them. But also, I think too, they're just really wanting to see you again or see you soon. I think that's something that they're really worrying about. But Spirit, what guidance do you have for both group 3 and their person? What do they both need to hear right now? Go on an adventure. Today is the day to try something daring. So I think that if you're looking for date ideas or anything like that, maybe you guys could plan something together, even if it's just within your hometown, or if you guys are at a distance, maybe you could plan to meet in the middle or something like that. But I also think as well, today is the day to try something daring. I think this is guidance for both of you to take those leaps of faith and open up when it feels authentic and right. You know, I think you guys underestimate how meaningful sharing from the heart will be for the both of you. And I think that's because you've shared from the heart in the past, or had people share what was supposed to be their hearts, but was rather, maybe not as genuine as you thought. And I think what's unfortunate is that both of you are kind of in this hesitant place where it's like you're playing by the ego rule book that you both were taught just through human conditioning. But that rule book is just creating division and creating fear and uncertainty where there really is a lot of simplicity and connection and openness. So you really don't have to overthink it. Just don't be afraid to get lost in the moment with them. And when a moment, and when you feel like the urge to say something or do something and you worry, is it too soon? I wouldn't worry about that, because I think that things are happening really fluidly, and even if one of you said something the other wasn't ready for it, they wouldn't be like, I can't believe you said that to me, I'm never talking to you again. They'd be like, they probably say something along the lines of like, I feel really strongly for you. I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but I feel like I'm getting there, and I really appreciate you sharing that with me, because it really makes me feel more secure in my own feelings, for example. And honestly, I feel like that possibility is really slim anyway. And ultimately, I feel like you guys can, this is restoring your faith in the idea of the love that both of you thought existed as kids, that you were convinced as adults didn't exist, and now you have the opportunity to prove those kids right and your adult selves wrong. So group 3, we're gonna go ahead and move over to the extended, where we're gonna look at what's next for you in this person, which I'm really excited about. But if you are leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play for the first 30 seconds. That's the simplest and easiest way to support me and show appreciation for my channel, so thank you to everyone who does that. If you would like to support me in other ways, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, you can check out my social media, you can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out extended, of course, or other videos, the extended. You can check out just other videos in general. You can share me with a friend. You can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag, and my PayPal is my email. I can respond on Cashapp, but I cannot respond on PayPal, but I do see your messages, and I am very grateful. You can just send me love. I'm sending you love right back, and I do love you guys so much. I'm so happy for all of you. I really hope this reading resonated. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!